This folding fat tire electric bike comes in at a budget-friendly price. It's called the Engwe L20 2.0, and in today's video, we're gonna see if it can climb hills by running it up to 20% grade. We're gonna test the acceleration and the top speed and see if we can ride out on the beach. And we're gonna see what kind of range remains on the battery after our 18-mile test ride. Current price and any discount I can offer you will be linked below the video in the description box. But do not buy this e-bike just yet. We gotta run it through the tail-heavy circuit and see if it's any good or not. The tires on this e-bike are definitely not 4 inches wide. Look like 3 inches to me. We'll see in a minute. Check out this box too. Well, let's get this bike on the box. Looks like it's got a rack on there. Seems to be some mounting points and an integrated taillight. Wheels are 20 inches tall and the tires are indeed 3 inches wide. So shorter wheels, skinnier fat tires will help keep the weight down a little bit. And the fact that they are spoke wheels and not mag wheels also helps keep the weight down. There will not be a quick release lever on this bicycle. And brake rotors are 180 millimeters. Considering the weight and size of this bike should be plenty. And speaking of weight, I don't know what it is right now, but we'll get on the scale here soon. Let's take a look at the frame. Actually, let's pop that battery off. Let's check it out. These keys, they are used on this side of the battery. And when you do a half click, it will lock onto the frame. Another click will turn the battery on. But let's pop this battery off here. Battery is branded Engwe. Voltage is listed as 52 with a capacity of 13 amp hours. Alexa, what's 13 times 52? 666 watt hours of energy. So this is actually a 52 volt system. Wow. We might get a little bit of extra pep out of this battery. I was expecting it to be 48 volts. 676 watt hours of energy. How much does that weigh? 9 pounds, 10 ounces basically. So on a folding electric bicycle, it's always a nice feature to be able to take the battery off because you're actually gonna pick these things up, fold them, throw them in a car maybe. What we got going on in here? Charger, I was skeptical until now. 58.8 is the max charge on a 52 volt battery, and it is a 2 amp charger charging up to max voltage. So 58.8 on a nominal voltage 52 volt battery. 13 amp hours divided by 2 amp charge rate would be 6.5 hours to charge from completely empty to completely full. We'll get that going right now. It'll turn green when it's done. Oh, those are a little bit gooey. Folding electric bikes typically ship with folding pedals, as does the L20 2.0. Comes with a manual and tools. And of course, this is a hub drive electric bike, and we all know that power is the product of voltage times amperage. We're running a 52 volt battery. I wonder what size the controller is. How many amps is that controller going to send to the battery? And this is the black variation of this folding bike. But if you don't like the color of the black frame, there are two different color options available in the link below this video in the description box. We can see that there is water bottle mounting points. And in case you haven't seen how a folding e-bike goes together, handlebars go on like this and they are adjustable height. Lock that, lock that. And there are also mounting points on the front here for a basket or something. And this is a hardtail e-bike with no rear suspension built into the frame. But up front here, we do get front suspension. The ride stanchion has a basic open or lock feature, and by not having rear suspension, it helps keep the weight of the bike down. But they do give us a little basic suspension seat post, and this is the kind of suspension seat post that helps keep the cost of the bike down. What kind of seat will we be rolling on? Here's the seat we will be rolling on. Relatively wide, has a little bit of stitching cut out in the center. Definitely squishy. Seems all right to me. When it's time to take your battery out, here's the lever you pull to pop the hatch. There is a quick release lever on the seat for easy adjustment of seat height. The guard on both sides of the chain ring up front will help keep the chain on in case you're riding in some rough conditions. Here's the latch that folds the whole bike in half. On the rear, it's refreshing to see a derailleur guard installed. There is a worm tip here. This derailleur protector is used for the protector of the derailleur from being deformed. It's a straight facts right here, dude. If this thing's not installed when you get an e-bike, the derailleur can easily be damaged in shipping, or if you knock your bike over, it's easy to mess it up. It's always a good thing to have on there. Not every company ships it with it on there, but Engwe does, so our tourney derailleur will be protected on our L20. Explore a new way. I see what you did there. There are 7 gears on the cassette. Fenders are, come out and play. Fenders are metal. How much is this e-bike? Thought this was a budget-friendly e-bike. I actually don't even know how much it costs, but you can check in the link below this video in the description box. Metal fenders have a nicer polished look than plastic ones. You might be able to hear the rocks clinging up a little bit more than plastic ones though. And flipping this bike around reveals 2 things. One, this e-bike is pretty light. Two, we will be rolling on mechanical disc brakes. Helps keep the price down. You might have to get down here and adjust these knobs every now and then, but one of the benefits of these mechanical disc brakes as compared to hydraulic disc brakes, you'll never have to do a brake bleed, and the maintenance will be a lot simpler and easier for the everyday dude to do. We'll see how they feel when we get out on the road, but before we can test the brakes, we should probably throw that front rotor and wheel on there. And as mentioned before, this is not a quick release lever on this front axle. Goes on with a nut and bolt. Makes it a little bit more difficult to take the front wheel on and off, which can be a good or bad thing. Less likely that you'll get your front wheel stolen, but it does make it a little bit more hard to pop off the front wheel if you're gonna take it off the transport. Fender and headlight go here. Make that part look easy. And we're almost ready to roll, but what's in here? Not really sure what this could be. I think everything's already on this bike. Da-da-da. Oh shoot, nice. They give us a little front rack. How about that? Goes on right here, right like this. And that explains that. I spent forever fidgeting with this headlight down here. It was really hard to get that on there. The headlight is not intended to go on down there. It's supposed to go on here, I think. I was wondering why this cable was so long. I just tucked it back up in the frame. Front rack is rated for 8 kilograms. That's about 17.5 pounds. Ah, there we go. That's the proper way. Headlight comes out up here. Doesn't rotate with the handlebars anymore though. And they give us this little hook right here for cable management. So let's take a look at the dash. We get rubber ergonomic hand grips. Adjust our pedal assist right here. A few dials on the inside and bottom. Engwe branded screen. Right side has our typical 7-speed shifter. On the right, we have a quarter twist throttle to control our power. Don't forget the bell. And the mechanical brake levers have a little rubber soft touch surface here just to make your ride that much more pleasant. So we'll fire up that display in just a moment, but first let me show you what I look like on it. So with the bike on minimum settings, handlebars on minimum, seat on minimum, easy low step through frame to get on this bike. Here's what I look like on it at 6'5", inseam 34, minimum height. And now on maximum height, hopping on. Suspension seat post feels budget. Here's what my pedal stroke would look like. Pretty light feeling bike. Well, not heavy feeling bike. Of course the battery's not on there. And let's see how easy this thing is to fold up. How quickly I can do it. How easy it is. So that goes like that. There's the clip on this side that I showed you earlier. And since it's not fat tires and we do have spoke wheels, it's a little bit lighter. And that was pretty easy. Whole bike is looking about this footprint right now after we got it all folded up. See what my weight is today? 200! And now if I pick this entire bike up, step on the scale, what's it say? 260.2. So this thing weighs 60 pounds. That's without the battery. Once we throw that battery on there, I'll add, about 9.4 pounds more. I'll call it 69. Now let's drop this battery on and fire this thing up. So you do need to leave a key in there for this one to be on. So you can turn it off or pull your key out, and then somebody without the key can't turn this on. I'm tapping the display up here, so it won't turn on. But now, when the key is turned on, tap that button down there. Boom, we have a color display. We can see there is green, 5 green bars up there to indicate battery percentage. A little bit of yellow here for the speed and pedal assist. So there are 5 levels of pedal assist. You can turn it all the way down to 0 miles an hour, front and center. Tap this button. This button here turns on and off the headlight. Top button tabs to miles an hour, average speed, trip, odometer, max speed. Typical stuff. Let's fire this thing up. When I turn on the headlight, it also turns on a brake light. If I grab the brake lever, it illuminates a brake light. And from the front, here's what the headlight is looking like. Does not rotate with the handlebars and wheel. So let's fire this thing up. Pedal assist 5, full throttle, ready, go. Twitch throttle takes us up to 20. If we turn the pedals, all right, dudes, let's check out the Engwe L20 2.0. Before we get out there, I'm actually super curious to check out this controller. What is this thing? Rated voltage, 52 volts as expected. What is the amperage? Current limit value, 22 plus or minus 1 amp.
23 times 58 is 1,334.
So a little bit over 1,300 watts peak power on this thing. So generally, 52 volts gives just a little bit more pep than a 48 volt system. And we do have this big old motor on these plus size tires. And of course, we'll fire up the Strava to check our official distance on this relatively smaller battery. So let's get on out of here. So of course, the very first test we're gonna do here is run it up to 20% grade. I weigh 200 pounds, throttle only. Let's see how it does. Full throttle, ready, go. What kind of torque are we working with on the Engwe L20 2.0? Pretty solid. So that pulled us right up to 20% grade, throttle only, no pedaling whatsoever. So on pedal assist 0, you actually can get this thing rolling and pedal it. You know, if the battery were to die on you, cruising along 6 miles an hour here, no pedal assist, feels fine. Let's try pedal assist 1. So it is a cadence sensor on this e-bike. So the cadence sensor will cut us off at about 5 miles an hour for pedal assist 1. Let's try pedal assist 2. Oh yeah, that thing kicked us straight up to 9 miles an hour immediately. So since it is a cadence sensor, it doesn't matter how hard you press on the pedals. All you gotta do is just start rotating them and it'll give you a consistent power output to the corresponding pedal assist level. So 2 will take us up to about 10 miles an hour there according to the onboard. We'll get out the GPS. Oh my goodness, holy crap, this thing feels actually pretty torquey. I can feel this is a 52 volt system, I feel like, man. So 15 miles an hour. I was actually really surprised to see this thing is actually 52 volts. So we are on gear number 6, cruising at 15 miles an hour on pedal assist 3. Let's bump it on pedal assist 4 and gear number 7. And that'll take us up to 21. And yeah, dude, this thing feels peppy, man. I'm liking it. Now, since it is a cadence sensor, if you were to bring it down to say about 7 miles an hour, 6 miles an hour, and start just ghost pedaling and not even put any power in at all, oh, so it actually kind of delivers the power in a predictable way there. I'm actually not even like pedaling, but it brings it up in a pretty predictable, controlled way. Sometimes the companies that don't really put any thought into that cadence sensor, it'll just give you all the power off the line, like almost throw you off the back of the bike. So pedal assist 5, just get on these this pedaling a little bit. Yeah, it actually eases on the pedaling, brings us up to speed at a relatively controlled pace. And yeah, dude, I'm feeling it. So these are shorter, lighter, 20-inch spoke wheels, only 3 inches wide as compared to a lot of fat tire e-bikes. They'll run 4-inch wide tires. The bigger the tire, the less nimble the bike feels, the more you can really feel the weight of the wheels. These ones feel good, man. And I have not tried the throttle at all yet. Let's see, on pedal assist 3, if I use throttle, will that give us pedal assist 3 levels, or will that take us beyond pedal assist 3? So throttle will take us all the way up to 20 and cut us off there, even if it's on 4 or 5. So on a class 3 electric bike, the throttle should cut you off at 20 miles an hour, as this bike does. And we'll feel out these mechanical brakes here a little bit more later today. At first observation, they feel not too bad, mostly because of the little rubber surface there. And while we're waiting here at the light, can you see that screen through my polarized sunglasses? Throw them on and see. Yes, you sure can. Very nice. Now, this is not going to be your #1 go-to option for off-roading, but let's go ahead and take it off-road here just a bit. It does have that suspension seat post on there. It is very budget friendly, and the shorter wheels on this are not, you know, great for running stuff over. Generally, a taller wheel will be better for riding off-road. It does have that front suspension on there. Very pretty soft front suspension with only the ability to lock it or unlock it. You could replace that suspension seat post with something a little bit nicer if you want a better ride off-road. And if I didn't mention it already, those shorter wheels will make this bike easier, like lower to the ground. So better for a shorter person to get on and off this thing. And speaking of shorter, we can adjust the handlebar height on this bike, which is nice. And raise those up to max for me. And speaking of max, let's throw this thing on max pedal assist. Get on out here. Well, that rack is tripping me out, dude. You turn the wheel and the front rack doesn't turn with it. Check it out, sunny and 75 here. Off in the distance out there, you can see the snow-capped mountains. Oh, that's kind of sketchy standing right here, dude. Well, we do have the 52 volt. Let's pop on this thing, see if we can get in the flow of traffic here, get up to speed. Let's see what kind of speed we can hit here on the downhill. That motor, I can hear it cranking up, and I'm just ghost pedaling now. I can't keep up with the pedaling, but it is showing 28.1 on the dash. We'll go ahead and get out the GPS here in just a few and measure and see if that's accurate. So let's go ahead and see what this thing can do. 0 to 20 acceleration, throttle only, GPS with my left hand, ready, go. So it does ease on the power just slightly with throttle only, and 15, 16, 19, 20. So pretty darn quick accelerating electric bicycle. Feel that out again, ready, go. So it does seem like it eases on the power a bit. You might be able to get into the settings if you want the most thrilling launch. So let's go ahead and see what this thing can do top speed wise. GPS on my left hand here, showing 18. So after you get to 20, you have to start ghost pedal. Well, you don't have the ghost pedal, but I'll start pedaling here just a little bit. Cadence sensor kicks on, and then after about 23, I really can't keep up. So now at this point, I'm just turning my legs, putting down no resistance to the pedals at all. And we are actually going into a headwind showing 27 on board, and so let's go ahead and actually whip that around, go the opposite direction here. 27 on board, 26 on the GPS, 28 on board, 27 on the GPS, and it's gonna basically top us out right around zippy feel bike for sure. The lightness and nimbleness of these smaller, lighter wheels adds to that nimbleness, zippiness feel. The cadence sensor does take about a second until it kicks on, so you're not gonna get that power immediately. You probably could get into the settings here. One of the benefits of a delayed cadence sensor is you won't accidentally get like jolts in power. So there it goes, kicking on. But if you want immediate power, as soon as you start pedaling this thing, you could just use the throttle because that gives you instant power. So there's not a ton of e-bikes I get with 3-inch wheels. Usually they're either 2 or 4. I am gonna try this on the sand and see how it does in a few. Definitely not the kind of bike you would buy to exclusively ride on the sand, but I'm just curious if it can actually do it. All right, what the heck? Let's try and run it up this hill in the sand. This is not gonna probably go well at all, but let's give it a go. So, oh wow, I'm actually really surprised this was able to do it. So 3-inch wide tires are enough to do it. Just barely, if this thing's got enough power. Let's feel out the suspension here just a bit. That I can feel the rear suspension seat post doing its thing. You know, it's not the most premium stuff, but you know, it certainly helped going over that off-road terrain. I definitely keep this thing on the road though. Again, you know, front suspension, it is either lock or unlock, and it's pretty soft. So I mean, it's pretty much set up for street riding. You'll bottom this thing out if you put any real amount of force on that front fork. For street riding though, as this thing is likely intended to be used, we're feeling good out here, dude. So riding in the sand is certainly a job for a wider and taller wheel, but it doesn't mean we won't try it today. We'll get out here on the boardwalk, see how this suspension seat post feels, and how far will we actually make it. These tires just probably aren't wide enough, but it's actually powering through this stuff pretty good, man. I am actually shocked that this is making it this far in 3-inch wide tires, but we are rolling on 52 volts. I say I can, or according to my calculations on a full charge, this would be about, oh my goodness, 1300 watts-ish roughly peak power output. Once we get down here on the more hard packed sand, it'll be able to roll a little bit easier. Wow, I'm actually impressed with these 3-inch wide tires' ability to handle this, and now we're picking up speed, cooking a little bit, man. I don't know if I should be going this fast out here. I might. These are knobby tread tires, and they're definitely holding their own. Let's see if we can make it up this hill and back to safety up here on the boardwalk. Quickly losing steam, and yeah, we're gonna be out about now. Ah, that was some fun B-roll. Let's hop back on this thing. Of course, the twist throttle makes it easy to get us back over here. I'll try and hop back on just for a moment. So it's just like right on the edge of being able to do it. Not bad at all for a 3-inch tire. So now we're gonna run it up to the top of that cliff. It's 85 feet tall, and the long gradual ramp we'll be taking is a 12% grade. Halfway through this ride, we're showing 3 out of 5 battery bars. We'll check the voltage when we get back. Let's head on into the loop-de-loop here, full throttle, as long as I can maintain control of this. And I can actually maintain control of this bike a lot better than most. And we'll floor it on the way down the California incline, slam on the brakes right before this wall. See how these mechanical 180 millimeters rotors hold up. We are doing 10 miles an hour, 12. I'm gonna have to let off here just for a moment. 14, 15, 19, 19.1. I'm gonna start ghost pedaling here just a little bit since it'll cut us off at 20. So yeah, pretty much hitting 19.4, 20-ish miles an hour. So while hydraulic brakes are kind of becoming the standard on electric bikes, this is rolling on mechanical brakes. For a bike of this weight, especially rolling on 180 millimeter rotors, I think this will actually be perfectly sufficient. One of the benefits of mechanical disc brakes is when it comes time to do maintenance, it'll be a lot easier to do that maintenance. Let's see if they'll do their job here. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, there. I kind of freaked out there for a second thinking I was going way too fast. Plenty of stopping power, as we can see there. I just left a big old scuff mark on the back tire, which locked up. And then obviously you don't want to pull that left lever too hard. You don't want to lock up that front tire, but this thing does have great stopping power. Now those levers aren't quite as linear as a hydraulic set, but for the price, you know, I think they're perfect for this bike. Hey, there goes a Saunders. A Saunders Metacycle with a surfboard. How much more California can you get? So if you get yourself into a pickle, you're going about 20 miles an hour, you need to come to a stop quickly, say a squirrel runs out in front of you or something. you'll be good to go. So after 10 miles of beating on this battery, we are showing 2 out of 5 bars. We're gonna head on home, see the final range, but before we do that, let me leave you with my final thoughts on the Engwe L20 2.0. So for a folding electric bike, this thing is pretty zippy, especially for the price point, which you can see the current price of this bike in the link below this video in the description box. Vendors are saving us big time right there. But if you do decide this is the electric bike for you, if you did buy through that link, it would help support my reviews here on Tail Happy TV and give you the best price on this e-bike as well. So I love that this thing is 52 volts. I can definitely feel it. It's just a little bit more peppy than a typical standard 48 volt system. Now 13 amp hours on a 52 volt system. You know, we are showing 2 out of 5 bars, so this probably isn't gonna be a range monster. That being said, this electric bicycle is relatively lightweight. I mean, compared to, you know, other comparable 4-inch fat tire e-bikes or e-bikes with a bigger battery. Ultimately, you really just want, you know, the size battery that's gonna get you to where you wanna go. You don't wanna be carrying around a huge battery if you're not gonna be using it all. I mean, considering the price, I really don't have much to complain about this bike. I definitely swap out that seat post. I put on a, you know, a little higher quality suspension seat post, although this one is, you know, doing its job for the price point. I'll stop my rambling. Let's go see what the final range is. All right, dudes, just finishing up the 18-mile ride, hour and a half ride time, 11.85 miles an hour average speed. And this thing is showing exactly 1 bar remaining on the battery. We'll get inside, throw it on the voltmeter, see exactly what that voltage readout is. But as I said, you know, 52 volts, 13 amp hours, not the largest battery, helps keep the weight down. And I was running this thing into the freaking ground today, literally out there in the sand, really punishing this battery, not pedaling at all. So if you're looking for a folding electric bike that's got a little bit of pep to it, that's fun, not gonna break the bank, got a rack, something you can actually pick up and load into a car, if you can grab one of these things for under $1,000, I do not think that is a bad deal at all. So if you want one, click the link in the description box, get the best price, support me at Tail Happy TV, and I greatly appreciate your support. However, if this is not the kind of electric bicycle you're looking for, watch this video next. Catch you over there. And let's check the final voltage. Moment of truth. Voltage is 50.8. So it's got a little bit more left in there for sure.